Hello and welcome back to Mudstorm Puzzles. So today I have the biggest puzzle I've done today, and by that I mean piece count. So this is going to be the puzzle I'm approaching today, 1,500 pieces. Biggest I've done so far is 1,000 pieces. I am in the process of building the biggest puzzle board I've got to date to fit this on, because it won't fit on the ones I've normally got. So that's going to be a challenge in and of itself. I'll probably do a video about that, or at least a short or something like that. But yeah, this is the one I'm approaching. I'm a little bit reserved because I've just done the silver detailed one, and that was starting to give me a headache with not being able to see details. But I am hoping that even though this has got a lot of gold in it, which I actually think looks quite incredible, there is also a lot of other texture, patterning, coloring, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm in a lot of minds about it, but I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking to try and separate each panel in the sorting, and in particular try to do things like get the lines separated and things like that. So we're going to see how we go with the sorting. Just for information's sake, this is a Mind Bogglers puzzle, apparently. It is the part of what's called the Klimt, Klimt collection, the Klimt collection, which I've seen a couple of puzzles to do with that, I think. So I'm kind of curious to look up more of it. I'm not sure if this is going to be a picking up puzzle, trying to pick up the biggest puzzles I make so that I get a bigger and bigger record, so to speak. But we're going to see how that one turns out once I put it together. It is measuring 84 centimeters by 66.5 centimeters, which for the American viewers is 33 inches wide by 26 inches tall. So it's quite a wide puzzle as opposed to a tall puzzle. But on the whole of it, I think this is going to be, yeah, quite a fun puzzle to do. Interestingly, I've been looking at it, and it's sort of, there's no, poster or anything inside. So I'm going to have to do it solely on the box, but I think I'm going to use the front box. But it does appear that there's a little bit of the edge missing on the front box compared to the full picture, but I don't think that's going to be of any consequence. So yeah, so let me get into sorting it, and I'll bring you back once I've sorted it, and we'll talk through where I got with that. And hopefully, yeah, we'll go on from there. So wish me luck. So I finally finished sorting the 1,500 pieces, which to be honest felt like forever. As you'll see in a moment, the funny thing is the red was really, really a lot of them. It's kind of crazy in a way. So I'm going to talk you through this. This is what are the left panel, the middle, and the right panel, obviously. And I'm going to talk through some labels that I used. So we've sort of got the left background, the triangle section, and obviously the ladies' skin and so forth, which is more of a redder sort of tone. You'll hopefully be able to see in a second, or grey, I suppose, from this distance, but a lot of it looked a slightly bit more red than hers, basically. In this panel we had the blue, I had the rectangular bits, the circles, and then the skin and hair and so forth. Over here I've got the red background, basically, which is the largest amount of pieces. What I'm calling the snake. There's no head on here, but for the life of me I can't figure out what else I would call it. Then I did the skin, so what I will refer to as the red skin, I guess, and the hair that goes with it. And then I also had the lines as well as doing the edges for each bit. So yeah, let's walk you through it. So here we've got the middle rectangle type pieces, and they're next to what's sort of the circular bits, colourful bits of that middle bit. That's the blues from the bottom of it. And then we have sort of the hair and skin and so forth from that. So you can see it's sort of more of a bluey tinge for a lot of it. Also paired with that was up here we had the blue edges and then the top edges for that bit, because I wanted to get the edges separated into chunks to make it a bit easier. This is all the red background. I was pulling these out, like I concentrated on pulling them out for ages, and I was still pulling them out toward the end. So there's a lot of them, but I think they're going to be fun to put together just because of all the lines. So yeah, that's the red, and then we've got like the snake bits. These were basically just if I saw something like that patterned, that I knew that was a bit separate. And we've got the red edges, and then this is the red skin, if you will, and the hair of that lady. So yeah, that was a pretty cool separation. And then we've got down here, this was the last sort of bit. This is the left panel's sort of side pieces and things like that. So this is mostly what would go here and here for the most part, from what I can tell. There's probably a bit of miscellaneous in there, but it kind of became a patchwork of things there. This is the triangles bit, so the eyes, the dress of hers, basically. And this is her face and so forth. So you can see there's sort of more of a red tinge on a lot of it. There's some that's sort of bluish. I'm not sure if that's her or the other one, but yeah, for the most part, that seems mostly relevant. And then these were the edge pieces for there. There's not as many there as I was expecting, but that might change. I don't know. We'll see. And then we've got these lined bits that separate each panel, so I did them separately. I then had a few black pieces, which will probably mostly be the left lady, but yeah, I wasn't 100% sure, so I just put them to the side. And then a few miscellaneous pieces. This is probably the smallest miscellaneous pile I've ever had on any puzzle, so yeah, that's kind of cool. But yeah, in total that was like, what's that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 separate piles. 16 technically if you count that as 2 separate piles, so maybe even 17 if you want to go with that and that. So yeah, the most separated piles I've ever done. And for 1,500 pieces, it's probably going to be worth it. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to build first, to be honest. I think I'm really eager to have a go at this snake thing, to be honest. But I might do some of the edge bits first, just to get some ideas on things. This line one I'm going to do early, because that'll be pretty easy. And probably the faces and bodies, just because they're smaller piles. I think this one is going to be my last one, to be honest. I think it's got so much details in it and stuff. Like some of it I could look at it and I could tell, like I could see where these squares were pretty easily. This thing's pretty obvious, you know, a couple of things like that. But I think I want to do that after I've built everything else. These will be pretty easy, I reckon. They're all pretty individual and stuff, so I don't think that'll be too hard once I get started on it. These pieces were very easy to tell. A couple of them I looked at specifically and I could tell where they were pretty instantaneously, so I think that'll be pretty easy. The blues, small area, but I think it'll be intricate to sort of check. But yeah, and like I said with the red, I think the line work's going to be the thing that helps the most. But I think I want to do the red after I do the snake and the skin and that, because then that'll make that a lot easier to hang a lot of that off of. So that'll be sort of one of the last things I do. Probably second last. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, this pile's definitely going to be last. So anyway, bear with me. Let's get started.
So as I noted, there was unfortunately a lot of problems with filming. My stand fell over a few times. I lost video clips. When I say fell over, it gradually tipped off as it always does. And yeah, I don't know what happened. I just lost a whole lot of videoing of the first 2/3 of the puzzle. So anyway, as you can see, I have finished the first 2/3 of the puzzle, and the red section basically is this last section here that I've got left. Um, Obviously, I'm working on my new board at this point. It was really fun to build it. I tried to keep it flat. It's got a bit of a curve in it, but for the most part, it's ended up being really good for this situation and this puzzle and so forth. So yeah, I'm really happy with the board. You're going to see a lot more of that coming up when I do the bigger puzzles. My next video in particular should be a 2,000 piece puzzle that'll be done on the board again. Yeah, so that's kind of the gist of it at the moment. Like that's where I've gotten up to in these video clips. And obviously from here, I'm going to work on this final third, which probably took the most time out of all of them. But luckily, I filmed a whole bunch of it. So you're going to get to see me connect a whole lot of pieces that were lying right next to each other, like this clip right now, and doing a lot more. So hope you enjoy.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Just getting that much done in that time lapse was hard yakka. That was a bit of a struggle. I couldn't believe how much of this, like this bit and the bit up here, I had to shift across. Yeah, there's a lot more going on here than I realized. So anyway, excuse the cat in the background. Yeah, so I'm going to get into a bit more of this. Probably going to jump ahead rather than time lapse because it's taking me a long time between pieces. So yeah, see how we go. Catch you on the other side. Okay, so not a few moments later, I find this piece. Now, that's one of only 2 edge pieces that I couldn't find. This blue one, I'm almost guaranteeing I'm not going to find. But to find this one, this is a little victory. And that's the thing. If you're watching this and you're wondering, how do you keep going in these situations? Well, it's about the little victories, to be honest. Finding every little detail that you can finish off and make complete. And therefore, you start to feel like you're getting somewhere and you're making progress. And for me, having little pieces connect so that you get a nice, extra strong connection somewhere, and suddenly you can go, I'm not looking for that texture anymore, and so on, is the little victory sometimes. So yeah, enjoy your little victories. It helps you keep going. Alrighty, well, as you can see, finally finished. Honestly, this was a lot more enjoyable than I was anticipating. Following the silver puzzle I did last time, I was a bit worried about how much gold was in this. But the funny thing is that compared to that fairy one, a lot of the gold was a lot more detailed in the different sections. And by all means, as much as I could sort each section that I outlined previously, that meant it was easy to build them in those sections. The 6 pieces that are missing, kind of frustrating a little bit. I think the worst one's definitely up in the face in this red region, and then probably this blue border piece would have been nice to not have go missing. But honestly, even with the 6 pieces missing, it's just been a beautiful solve. In a sense, like working through things like the blue section and their faces, and this snake type part was just lovely, just piecing it together bit by bit. Things like the gold eye pyramid triangle dress and the rectangle bits, they were really lovely to do. It was really easy to identify pieces and put them in the right spot. Essentially getting to the point where all I had left was the bulk of the red, the 2 edges of this gold side. Basically, that was those were the harder bits. But even then, by the time I got that far, they were relatively straightforward to figure out. And I really found out, it was really curious to see that the more I went through the puzzle, the more I recognized different patterns in things. And it's so funny in a way doing such a large puzzle and realizing that when you're sorting it, I've picked textures and colors that I recognize quickly looking at the cover. But then as I go back into a pile, I start to recognize more textures within that pile. And so I was able to just pick out certain pieces from that pile and make certain parts. It's a lovely puzzle. The Klimt collection is apparently a very well-known artist, and my mother-in-law was telling me that the artist painted these based on dresses that his wife made or something like that. And I don't know if she's the model or one of the models, I don't know. But either way, like, they're just beautiful paintings. And to have it as a puzzle is just been really lovely. It's got to say it was very well balanced in the sense of challenge but enjoyment. I think that overall, I really enjoyed building it, but it was a challenging build in the right ways. And again, being able to piece sort towards the end and have even amounts pretty much of each type was really lovely to do. I don't even know what else to say. That's really it. The pieces connect well. The piece shapes are nice for sort of regular type cuts. They were really nice pieces. They're pretty thick and durable and all of that. I found the more that I built, the more the pieces stuck together and were easy to move around. Even on this felt board, first time using this giant felt board, and I can move the puzzle, slide it on the board. So I'm going to attempt to pick up on it, which, I've done 1,000 piece pickup. This is going to be obviously 1,500 pieces if I manage it. I'm only doing this after I filmed because I plan to pack up the puzzle afterwards. So if I drop it or it doesn't work, it's not a great loss. But my aim is to continue trying to pick up bigger and bigger puzzles. So this will be the biggest to date. But so I'll show you that in a second. But honestly speaking, again, it's just been a lovely puzzle, lovely colors. I would recommend this immensely if you're after something of sort of just such an intricate, detailed, lovely picture. So this is Mindboggler's gold edition of the Klimt collection, KLIMT Klimt collection. So definitely worth the check out. So give me a second, I'm going to attempt to pick up, but other than that, I'm moving on for my next puzzle. I'm going to have a look at this one. This is Flight Fantasy. It's a 500 piece puzzle called the Fairy Crowning. I'm going to do this for my daughter, so I'm probably going to glue it and hang it for her. So yeah, keep an eye on for that. But it's really funny just to demonstrate again. This is a board that's going to be quite big for that puzzle, and it's half the size of this 1500 piece puzzle basically. So yeah, it's going to be a smaller, quicker build obviously, but once again, this 1500 piece is huge. And to think that it still doesn't take up this entire board, and my 3000 piece puzzle is basically going to cover the entire board. So looking at this is still only maybe 2/3 of the board. So yeah, I'm having a blast at the moment. So if you are with me watching the channel and you've kept up with this video, thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed or anything, please do, or put a comment. What do you love about this puzzle? It's a beautiful puzzle. And if you've got any ideas for me in the future, I'd love to hear about it too. But otherwise, yeah, this is Mud Stomp Souls, and let's see if I can pick this up.